Hello.
We are here to celebrate your 20th anniversary of doing stuff.
Doing stuff, yeah.
Making stuff.
Yeah. Films, right?
Films, yeah. Something like that.
I was going to say. Yeah, okay, cool.
I mean, everyone I'm sure is listening out there watching. It's kind of like, how the heck did you start? What was the inspiration to get you to start making films?
Well, it's funny. People always say, "Oh, did it start off?" It didn't. What happened really was, I wanted to become a wildlife presenter when I first wanted to. I didn't want to be a filmmaker, but it's weird. Media was always in my blood, I suppose, because first of all, I'm a huge animal lover.
Yeah.
And I remember watching ever since I was born David Attenborough documentaries and wildlife documentaries. I mean, I grew up with nearly all the David Attenborough stuff. He did Wildlife on One and all that, and then there was Survival Angler, then there was Natural World, there was Big Cat Diary. They were like the classic 90s wildlife programs, and I was like, because of the animals, I was like, I want to go out there and film all the animals and be with the animals and present and everything. But then it got from presenting to more, how do they make those documentaries? Like, how do they go off and get all those footage? And my dad and my mum used to go to me, it's camera tricks, because they couldn't explain what editing was back then. So back then they used to say it's camera tricks. Yeah, that was the word they used to say all the time. And I thought, camera tricks, what's camera tricks? And I remember when I was getting older, I was going to computer camera tricks and all this, and literally typing camera tricks. But then, so the wildlife stuff really began that for me. And then as the time went on, I thought, well, I'm more into how they were filming it, how they did it. And so because I was so into that side, my parents got me a camera when I was about 7, and it was one of those classic VHS little tape cameras.
Yes.
The old VHS,
the chunky thing.
Yeah, the little tape you slot in, and close the camera and you film it.
Yep.
Yeah, I used to go off and film all the animals with that camera because I lived in the country when I was a kid. I lived in Emberton, and I used to film foxes, I used to film badgers, I used to film hedgehogs, geese, ducks. I mean, we used to live near Emberton Lake, so I used to film there all the time. And every time my parents would go, you want to go filming there again? Nearly every day I was filming there. And I'd make my own little documentaries and stuff like that. And but then as the years went on, I started getting more into writing. And I was writing my own scripts, narrating the story. But then it got from talking about real life stories to fictional stories. Because obviously I still grew up with film, I still watched many movies as a kid, but it was weird, wildlife was more important to me, but then it started to slowly turn from wildlife to actual films, more. Yep. And as the years went on, I wanted to actually write proper scripts. I mean, obviously my first script was just me typing the dialogue. There was no, he goes in the door, it was just the dialogue, that's how I used to write my scripts back then. But then as the years went on, so the writing stage happened, and then the filming stage, and then what really kicked it off was, it was sort of like animation again, because when I was at school I used to draw storyboards. I used to get a piece of paper, draw 4 squares, and then do the storyboards for each segment. So it used to go left, right, that's how the order went. And I used to do this at school, and then all of a sudden the school saw this and they went, we're now going to make you do an animated short film. And that's when, and that actually happened around late October, but that's when I knew the actual date and the time. It was 2nd of October 2005. Right, that is what I'm going to start doing. That's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to go off and make films, and that's where the journey began.
Fantastic. I mean, over the years, obviously, you've had so much support from so many people. Have there been any standout people who've been with you since the beginning? I mean,
since the very beginning.
There's one name that comes to my mind, but I'll let you do this. I'll let you talk about it.
Well, I mean, my mum's always been very supportive. I mean, my mum knew that's what I wanted to do, and she's always been like, yeah, go and do it, and even tried to help me on a few things. But yeah, I mean, obviously Charlie, my best mate, he's been there since day one. In fact, he wanted to be an actor because I wanted to become a filmmaker.
Okay.
Enough. So he said that to me. He said if it wasn't for me, he would have figured out what he wanted to do.
Okay.
So he actually wanted to be an actor because I wanted to get into film. So that was really an honour, really, to know that, because of me, I've inspired him to do that.
Wow.
And we did. We used to meet up all the time and do like little film joke scenarios and go and film things and take a camera out and do bits and bobs. And you know, that's what we've kind of have done now. You know, I mean, now look, I mean, watch Archie and Jim. That's what we actually got and did. But he has been there since day one. But along the lines, you know, you do come across some vultures, and that's what's happened. But now the ones that have stood out since then till now. From then till now. So, and I'm going through the years, by the way. I'm not going to probably say this in order, but so basically there was obviously you. There was my old radio presenter Joseph West. He supported. In fact, if it wasn't for him, I would have gone to radio. But that's another story.
Okay.
But he still supported me. You know. I mean, obviously, as I'm going through the lines, there was, and then of course I met Rennie Costa, and you know, he in a way let me in and introduced me to some of the sets and the, you know, the filming side of it. I mean, I was in uni at the time, and he literally opened his doors for me and helped me get out and looked after me and became like another dad to me, really. And you know, and he really did become a massive support, and still is, you know. And then of course, in 2019, I met some really interesting. And of course, there's Megan Grover, who I can't forget, who's been an absolute diamond since day one. Since we met and did the Donkey, we just got on, and now we're like brother and sister. And you know, hopefully we can make another project together. And you know, there was also the likes of Charlotte Campbell, who's become the best actress I've ever worked with. Sylvana. Reece Skinner, who's recently come into my life, he's been supporting me. He's been sending me things to submit to stuff.
Good.
I'm really worried I'm going to lose some names here. People are going to get really angry with me.
No, they're not going to. I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, my wife. I can't forget my wife. You know, she's been. You know, I can't forget that one. She's been supporting me. Yeah. Right, yeah. There has been a few people that have come in, and they've definitely been. So I can't list everybody, but all I can say is they know who they are,
of course,
and they have been a massive support. And most of them, if it wasn't for them, half the films that I have done would not have been done. And I owe my gratitude and my success to those people. And you know, because I'm not an ego, I don't go around saying, "Yeah, because of me, I did it." If it wasn't for them, it wouldn't have happened. Yeah. So I owe literally my life to those guys.
Oh, that's amazing. And I'm glad that you kept in touch with a lot of them as well. I mean,
well, it's like I've got my own little pack,
yeah.
You know? You know, I've got my own little, like I said, I mean, there's been friends that I've had, like, obviously I've known Charlie for nearly 30 years and everything, and, you know, I've known Megan for nearly 7 years now, you for 7. I've known Elika and Emma for about 13 years, I think. Yeah, 13 years. They're another 2. Rennie I've known for... Yeah, I think over 7 years as well. So everybody's been staying around longer, you know. Yes. I mean, when I was making friends at school and college, they was only around for like a few months, and that was it, you know. And that's what I was saying. It's weird that I've met all these people from school, college, and uni. You know, 1,000 people. And only one will stick with you in that life. Mm-hmm. It's really strange.
Yeah, it is weird.
It is strange.
It's strange how that figures out. Yeah, I mean, you know, I got a friend who I made friends with in secondary school, and we lost touch for about 12 years, and suddenly she had a kid, and suddenly she's got back in touch with me. So it's just like, hi.
Yeah. I mean, it's good when they come. Yeah. It's nice when they knock back on the door.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what I'm saying is, it's just funny how like life is like that, isn't it? But that's what it's always been. I mean, this is a statement I have to mention. A lot of people sometimes say to me, "Oh, Reece, you've got loads of friends. You know loads of people. You get on with everyone." That's not true, right? I can honestly tell you, this is probably going to be not. This probably people don't believe me when I tell this, but this is the honest to God's truth. I never lie. I mean, I've got no filter, so I don't lie. Trust me. It is actually very hard for me to make friends. It's very hard for me, and it really, honestly, it depends on the vibe of that person. So, for example, let me just throw this out there. So, for example, me and you, I mean, when we met, we didn't know each other from Adam. You were just a guy at the event that I went to. We sat down, we met once, and then all of a sudden there was a vibe there. And I remember thinking to myself, do you know what? He was all right. I kind of like this guy. I'm going to see if he wants to play in the Wolf and all that. And I asked you. Yeah, and what I loved about you is when I mentioned it to you, you were just like so supportive about it. You went, I just want to go and make it with you. And I just thought, wow, he's nice. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I was like, I love the vibe. It's all about the vibe with me. And now look at us, you know. And it's the same with Megan. I met Megan, didn't know who the hell she was. She was just a cinematographer who apparently, you know, was asked from somebody else to come and help me. And I remember when I first met her, I'm not gonna lie, I was a bag of nerves because the thing is, you don't even know what people are like.
No, of course.
But what was amazing was after we first met, it was all right, but I didn't like how it kind of stood out. It was good, but I felt like it could have been better. So I said, I think I need to meet up with her again and get to know her as a person rather than a cinematographer.
Of course.
And I reached out and said, look, I think we should meet up, but see if we can get on. Who knows, we might even be friends. And she said, I would absolutely love that. Let's meet. So I thought, brilliant, she's on board. And what was amazing was we went out for a coffee, mostly talked about us rather than the film. And we just got on like that. Now we're like so super close. We're like brother and sister.
Yeah.
I mean, the banter that we have with each other is ridiculous, and we have the same sense of humour. We both have a love for horror films and filmmaking, and we love. Like we meet up and go for a coffee, or we'll go cinema. We'll have a day out. I'll go around her house and have dinner. She's come round my house for dinner. So we are practically family now. So it's nice that when you meet somebody and you have that friendship, the vibe is there. And funny enough, it's weird as well, because I've always thought to myself, am I a good friend to people? Right, let me just explain why. Okay. This is probably my anxieties, but don't forget, with autism you do get certain anxieties. I'm not a jealous person, right? I'm not a jealous person. I don't get jealous, but what I do get is I think I get left out. Right. So it's, for example, let's say I saw you going out with friends on Instagram, and I think, oh, that's nice. But then for some reason, I might sometimes think, Am I a boring friend? Is he having more fun with them than with me? Sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? So not getting jealous about you hanging out with other friends. It's I just hope that I'm not the boring friend. What? You know, and I think about that with I used to think about that like nearly everybody. So sometimes if I go to an event with people and they've got all their friends there, I think, am I going to fit in? Am I part of that? You know, am I fit part of that friend criteria with my friend? Am I going to fit in with everybody else? Am I going to be the odd one out? I've always felt like that. I don't know why I still do, but I think it's because I feel like people judge me before they get to know me. And it has happened loads of times. Like loads of people have actually come up to me and say, you look creepy, you look weird. And then I think, right, you know. What? And that's why I don't go to many events, because I don't know what to say. But I think I've sort of slowly outgrown it a little bit. And that's what I mean. The thing is, I just hope I'm good enough for people. That's what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean?
I think the proof's in the pudding. I mean, there's so many, like you said, there's so many people you've met on this journey.
That's true.
Who've stuck to your side.
No, that's true. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like that's how I used to feel.
Okay.
But I just hope that with the people that have stood by me, they know that I'm there for them as well. It's not vice versa. Because I feel like they've done so much for me, and I hope that I've not become useless or a burden. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just hope that they know that I'm there for them if they need it as well. That's what I'm saying. So it's not about being jealous. It's about, I just hope that they do look at me and think, yeah, he's cool, he's fun. And don't think, yeah, I do like hanging out with Reese, but he's a bit boring, you know? It's probably the anxiety talking.
I get it.
But yeah, do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to point it out there, because people seem to think that I make all these friends and it's easy. It isn't. It really isn't.
I know it's not.
The only thing is, I just don't give people the benefit of the doubt, because I know what being prejudiced is like. So I welcome people in, but it's that vibe. If the vibe's not good, please stay away from me. If the vibe's good, come in, let's have some chips.
Share a cup.
Yeah.
A pint of chips.
Why not?
That's the only way around it.
Exactly.
Oh dear.
Anyway, I just wanted to throw that, so I'm sorry if that was a long...
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's a valid point.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, so you've done so many films and series over the years. Is there any ones? You know, it's like everyone has a favourite child, supposedly. Not supposed to, but do you have a favourite child?
Yeah, his name's George. He's no. So obviously my favourite film, right? But do you mean short or feature?
Anything.
Oh, okay.
So your favourite short, your favourite feature, your favourite series.
Right. Well, favourite short is no contest. It's The Wolf.
Yes,
100%. Yeah, because the reason I love that one so much is because everybody and everything about that film went so well. Everybody was happy and positive. It was a lovely experience. Everybody was amazing. I loved working with everybody. There was no complaints. There was no moaning. There was no aggression. There was no egos. It was a lovely shoot. I worked with Chris Hampshire, who's a very big actor.
Yes, he was.
And I mean, I've only worked with him once, but I loved working with him. He was such a great guy. In fact, when I offered him the role of the wolf, I thought he wasn't going to want to do it because there's no dialogue, and I didn't think he'd think, oh, I can do better than this. But actually, he loved the script. He said, oh, I really want to do this, and I was like, yes. You know, so I'm really pleased I got him, and I felt very honoured. And then and when I got Rennie and you and everything, I thought, yes, it's going so well. And the amount of quick filming we did was like, oh, we've got this done. Okay, we're halfway there already. And it was just amazing, and everybody was just fantastic, and the result of it was beautiful. Like, I love that it's Christmassy. I love that there's no dialogue. We stick to the Peter the Wolf music. I love that I managed to take that story and put a twist on it. You know, we didn't have to use any puppets or animals. We actually used us dressed as animals, but there was a reason why.
Yes.
Because I could have just done Peter and the Wolf, and you could have danced like Peter or had the toy gun with the cork or whatever, you know. And I could have got Chris to dress like a wolf and howl with the moon and whatever. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to come up with my own story because with me, I like to come outside the box and think of really original material, and I do, but people just think I'm mad. But luckily, everybody knew what this was, and they stuck by the guns, and they did a really good job. And I think it was one of the funnest days of filming I remember having. And when I edited that project, I enjoyed editing so much. I actually didn't want to release it. I actually enjoyed editing it.
Really?
Because it was just like, it was so much fun putting the music with the fit. I was enjoying it so much. I was like, I don't want to stop. Because funny enough, editing's my favourite part of filmmaking, which again people think you're mad.
Yeah,
editing's but I love it. I love it more than writing. I love it more than filming, because with editing it's like, right, you've done the writing, you've done the editing, done the acting, and you've worked on location. You can sit at home with a coffee and you can start putting it all together. That's peaceful to me. So editing is actually very good for my mental health.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so I love it.
So
The Wolf is my number one favourite, but the one I'm most proud of is scripting. Because I honestly cannot believe how much that film has impacted the film festival industry. Because, I mean, look, when I did The Donkey and that came out, obviously COVID took over, and yeah, it managed to get through for one and whatever, and people loved it, but I was very upset that this very first film festival project didn't get its release that I wanted it. And obviously it's not anyone's fault, it was COVID. So I was like, right, once COVID is over, I'm going to do something so bigger next time. And scripting was written during COVID, and I already knew what I wanted to do with it. And so when 2022 came and became my golden year, because that year just became the most unexpectedly amazing year ever, because I was going through that year through such a depressing phase. I thought, oh, I'm not going to have a good year. But then all of a sudden I got a new job. Then I started filming, scripting, and everybody was like, and I was like, oh my God, and it just, film festival. And so with scripting, it was amazing because, you know, I knew what I wanted to do with it, and I spoke to Megan, and she was happy to film it again, and, you know, come back, and I'm really glad she did, because, you know, she's incredible. And obviously, you know, Charlie came on board because you couldn't do it, you know, which is fine. No, it's fine.
Sorry.
No, Charlie was more than happy to do it, because I mean, Charlie, you know, he's very picky. So luckily he read the script and he was like, yeah, I want to do this, and he was very good. And in a way, it was kind of nice to expand Eddie's universe. You know, he had other friends, and you know, so it was kind of nice. But what really was the icing on the cake was Charlotte Campbell. I mean, I immediately wanted her to play that role of Patricia, and I phoned her. It was actually the very beginning of 2022 when everything was going well, and I phoned her immediately, you know, because I wanted to start preparing for the shooting in the spring summer. So I phoned her up in January and I said, right, Charlotte, we need to have a very long talk on the phone, because there's this role that I want to give you, and I need you to do this. And I said, if you don't do it, this film goes in the bin. And I was serious. If she had said no, this script would not have been done.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm serious, because this is the one thing, right? Because there's been so many toxic vultures out there, and now the world is so stupidly sensitive. What I didn't want is to meet a random actress who I do have no idea what she's like. We make this film and the bond looks forced, because obviously Eddie's got to be in love with her. And obviously nowadays people look at these films, the director and the actress, it's going to be weird, you know. And I've just thought, you know, nowadays people just take things out of context. I mean, trust me, I've got stories, but I don't think we've got a lot of time. No, I won't. But anyway, I'm not going to waste my time talking about them. But in all seriousness, I said to Charlotte, look, there's this role I'm going to give you. It's a very big role, and I know you can nail this, but if you don't say yes, this goes in the bin. So she was like, right, tell me. So